Hi guys, welcome back to week 25. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I am using some cut files and some of my mists here that I'm showing you, and I am going to mist up some of these cut files and all of my, or a lot of my paper that I'm going to be using on this layout. So I am going to show you the process of misting all of these die cuts and things, and then I'm just going to mist and sprinkle the cards off camera so you won't actually see that process, but I did think it would be kind of interesting to see this, so I left it in. So I'm just taking this box basically and my colors that I was showing you and just misting all over them. Each one's going to be a little bit different color. And then I'm just blotting it up, and some of the mists, or I think all of these mists, will have a sparkle to it. So here's just another die cut piece that says hello. This is a silver mist that's from Studio Calico. And like I said, I'm just kind of going through and misting all of them to match the colors of the paper that I'm going to be using. And here is what the paper looks like, and I have added some mist to that and added some sprinkles to some of the other die cut pieces. So I am working on my title card. That this one says The Story, and I am adding thickers to notate the week, and it's week 25 like I had mentioned. And I really like these thickers. I think they're really pretty. They're kind of like almost like a flat glitter, if that's possible. It's just kind of cool, like a shimmery glitter. So I'm just having the die cut say The Story, and then I'm writing of with these Tim Holtz little letter stickers, and I love these letter stickers. If you do not have them, you have to go out and get them. They're just awesome. So I added those on to say the story of week 25. Now I'm moving on to this little picture here, and this layout is a little bit longer than most of my layouts just because I am doing a lot of extra little detail-y things. So what I'm going to do on this card is I'm going to actually take some satin ribbon that I've had in my stash forever, trying to use up some of the things that I have because I have not definitely touched my ribbon as much as I should have. And I'm going to end up adding this on the right hand side. And the reason I got the colors and the look from this layout is we went to a wedding this week. My husband was actually in a wedding, and it just seemed like these papers and the ribbon and satin and all those textures really went well with the wedding, because it is kind of a fancy event. So I thought this was a perfect way to highlight that. So now I'm basically taking some of my strong tape, and I am going to put the ribbon down in like a ruffle pattern, and I'm going to show you on this card. I'm actually going to do the same process on a different card later on, but I'm not going to show you that entire process, but I want to keep it in for at least one. So basically what I'm doing is I put this adhesive down, and then I'm just kind of folding and pressing down the ribbon. And then right now it's kind of sticking up, and I'm going to cut little bitty tiny pieces of that same tape, and then it's going to go underneath each one of these little loops, and then I'm going to take that tape off and then press those loops down, and then it looks really, really nice. It sits down and looks like a very, very nice edge. So that's a perfect way to do a border, or just on your pages too. If you do 12 by 12 pages, that's perfect to add some texture and dimension to your pages as borders and just accent pieces. So because I am putting that ribbon down, I decided to use the same tape on the back of this picture because I wanted to make sure everything stayed stuck. I think I actually added a little bit of regular dot adhesive as well. So now I'm just going to stick this down, and I'm going to leave a little bit of the edge on the left hand side. And then I'm going to stick down the rest of the ribbon that's kind of like flipping up or needs to be tucked around the back of the card. And I really like how this turned out. And what I actually end up doing too is coming back in a little bit, and I'm going to be adding some rhinestones also on this ribbon. So you'll see that here in a little bit. And I just think that adds a perfect touch. So that's that card. I'm going to move on to this little card that has a picture of a text message that I was sending back and forth to my sitter. My daughter said that she forgot her lunchbox, so I went all the way to the sitter's house, dropped her off. She's like, "Oh, I forgot my lunchbox." I went all the way back home just to realize that she actually did take it and she had it at the sitter. So that was a really wasted morning. So unfortunately, that's how things go sometimes with the children. But what I'm doing here is I'm just going to be cutting out this little banner with a little mini Stampin' Up punch that has a banner. And I am going to be added to the top left here, and I'm going to add more of those Tim Holtz letter stickers and spell out kids. And they're a little bit too big for these banners, so I've just trimmed them up a bit. It's a perfect way to get them to fit without having to overlap. And then I'm going to add a little bit of stitching or faux stitching all the way around all of the little banners, just to give it a little more texture and pop it off the page a bit more. So that one is going to be done here in a second, and I really like how that turned out, just a little bit different element. And now I'm moving on to another card. This one is just kind of a filler card, and it's going to end up saying Snapchat. I'm going to use those same thickers I did for the title, and then I'm going to also add some Tim Holtz stickers, letter stickers. to finish off. So I'm going to kind of start putting it down, and then you're going to see me fast forward just so you don't have to watch this painstaking activity of me sticking down letters. And here I'm just going to glue it down, and I'm going to add that circle kind of behind where it says snap in the C on the chat. And then I'm also going to be adding an arrow, like an acetate arrow that I've had in my stash forever from Studio Calico Kit, I think. So you're going to see that here in a second. I really like combining the letter stickers. It's really fun. I don't think about doing it all the time, but when I do, I really like how it turns out. So that's a good way to kind of give a cool effect and look to your pages, is mixing up your letter stickers so it's not, you know, this is the same thing over and over again, and I think it gives a lot of interest to your page. So I'm just stapling that acetate arrow down, and now I'm moving on to the next card. This is a picture of the Snapchat that I was kind of journaling about on that previous card. I'm just going to add this love this into the middle of that little cluster of pictures, and that's what it's going to look like next to each other. And then I'm going to add some of these rhinestones to the card on the right, and then I'm also going to then come back to that one that I was mentioning earlier with the ribbon and add the rhinestones there as well. So I'm just going to kind of tuck them into the little loops and flaps of the ribbon, and I just really like how this ends up looking. And if anybody's interested, the pictures that I have on my layout, I do use an app called Snapchat, or not, I'm sorry, not Snapchat, Collect, the Collect app, and that's what gives me the picture like a Polaroid and the journaling on it. So if you guys are interested in that, I believe it's only available on iPhone, at least last time I looked, but it's called Collect. And it's pretty cool. And then I use Pick Frame to make the collages and stuff, and then I do the cards on the Collect app. And then when I print them 2 3x4s on a 4x6 paper. And if you guys are interested in seeing that process, I do have something in my Project Life playlist that goes over how I use the Collect app and Pick Frame. So if you guys are interested in a little more detail, that's there as well. Now I'm just gluing down one of those die cuts that I sprayed, and I sprayed it with that peach, and I thought it was a little flat, so I ended up sprinkling it with some of the purple as well. I just did that off camera. Here's just a little chipboard piece that I'm going to tuck up underneath that leaf, and then I'm going to add that little phrase sticker that says sweetheart, or sorry, phrase die cut. And I'm going to add some of these rhinestones to this page, or this card, and this one's going to be done as well. Oh, and I am going to add some of the outlining around the cards. And I did outline the other cards, I just didn't mention it earlier. I just think that they were kind of looking a little bit floaty, so I thought that would help ground them a bit. So I added the lines around all the cards. Now I'm going to be working on this peachy pink card, and this is a picture of the happy couple getting married. Oh, it was such a beautiful ceremony. It was at the most beautiful place. It was in like kind of a winery area, and it was on this bluff, and it was overlooking the river, and oh my gosh, it was just gorgeous. So they had a beautiful wedding. It was a lot of fun, like I said, beautiful reception. I really enjoyed it, and my husband, like I said, was in the wedding, so me and my daughter got to kind of hang around town while they went and go to take their pictures and such. So it was a very nice day, really, really nice. So now I'm just going to add some more of these die cuts, and I'm going to add this chipboard piece, and I'm going to end up gluing the chipboard piece because, as we all know, chipboard pieces never like to stay, so I'm just adding a little bit of glue on the back, and that will hopefully give it some insurance that it will stay. Now I'm going to do a little bit of journaling here, drawing some lines, just talking about the day a bit, and about how we had this toast afterwards. And now I'm going to add some more rhinestones to these little tags that came in the paper pad. And I'm going to add some of the sparkly gems to the little bubbles that come off the champagne. And I'm going to add some of those outlining again on this one. And I'm just using a precision pen for this. And I didn't mention it, but that Just Married is a rub-on. I did put that one on earlier. And then here is a picture of me and my husband. He doesn't really like to necessarily be on video, so I just covered his face up just to be nice. And then I am working on this clustering here on the left, on the card on the right, and it's going to be using one of the little cut files that has the leaves on it, and then I'm just going to add some of the die cut and chipboard elements from this little wedding collection. And these are actually leftovers. I had done a mini album of my friend several years ago when she got married, and I'm just using those pieces for this Project Life layout, and I thought they worked pretty well. It's not every day that you can use wedding themes, and since we had quite a bit of pictures and my husband was in the wedding, it made it a lot easier to use this stash up. So now I'm going to be working on a picture of me and my daughter. I'm just going to use a sticker that says celebrate, and I'm going to stick it right underneath that date here. Just using my tweezers because it was a pretty flimsy sticker. And then I'm going to trim up this joy. It was looking just a little bit too long. I'm going to glue that right there underneath celebrate. And then I'm going to add a few staples. I used some staples earlier on the page and I thought it would look good to have them kind of going across the page and not just in one spot. Here is where I'm going to do more of that ribbon trim. And like I said, you won't actually see this entire process, but it's basically going to sneak there behind that hello Polaroid frame. There you go. And then that die cut floral piece is going to kind of be tucked inside of that Polaroid and be sticking out kind of like it's coming out of the frame, and I really like how that looks. And it's going to tuck in at the bottom and then kind of overlap the frame at the top more, so you can see how that looks, and I just think that really looked nice. And then I'm going to add some staples because it was a little bit bulky and it seemed like it wanted to come up. Plus, again, I wanted to keep the theme of the staples throughout the page and not just in one location. And then basically this is the last card that I'm going to be working on. This is a die cut that I got in a Scraptastic kit. It says you and me, and I am going to paint it with some of the purple Heidi Swap, I think it's called Amethyst, Heidi Swap Color Shine. And then I'm going to glue it to the page, and that's pretty much going to be it. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you had a good time listening to my process and looking at what I did. If you have any comments, put those below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I guess I will see you guys or talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye.